I hate being a hypochondriac because it's not fun because you're always worried about death. A cold, okay, I'm gone. True story, every year, Gail and I would get our physical and we'd get our blood work done, just in case there was something, we could stay on top of it. So this happened this year. We got our physicals, got our blood work done. 4 days later, I'm out playing golf, 5 o'clock in the evening. I get back in the golf cart, I see a message from the doctor, a voicemail, and this is what it said: "You need to call us as soon as possible." What the hell does that mean? I'll tell you what it means, I'm dying, that's what it means. Oh my God, I called the doctor's office back. It's 5:30 on a Friday, they're gone. I got all weekend to stew about this. I called my friends, I said, "Look, man, I hope you know that I tried to be a good friend to you and that you'll remember me with a smile when my name comes up in conversation." I called my kids, I said, "Daddy has loved you with all his heart." And I said, you're gonna find a new daddy. And I'm sure he'll be nice, and just please remember me that I tried to do. I know I made some bad decisions, but and my daughter goes, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but the doctor called and said I'm dying." And she said, "That's what they said?" I said, "Well, yes." They said they needed me to call them right back, and you know what that means. She goes, "Yeah, it means they want you to call them right back." I go, "Well, honey, whatever you got to do to get through this, I totally support it." I went to Gail, I said, "Baby, make me a promise that when I'm gone, you'll get remarried. Please don't mourn over me. I'm gonna be in a good spot." And she goes, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "Well, the doctor called and said that I need to call him as soon as possible, and you know what that means." She goes, "Yeah, it means they want you to call him as soon as possible." I go, "No, it means I'm dying." She goes, "You know what, you're an idiot." I said, "Well, I'll be a dead idiot because that's what happens." I called my lawyer on a Saturday. You know what it costs to call your lawyer on a Saturday to make sure your will's in order? Monday morning, that doctor's office opened at 9 a.m. I was outside that door at 7 a.m. I waited for 2 hours. This nurse finally walked up and she goes, "What are you doing here, Bill?" I said, "Well, y'all called Friday and said call us as soon as possible, and I tried, but y'all were gone, so I just need to know, is it going to be a quick death? Am I going to linger? Do I need to put more money away?" She goes, "No, we just wanted to make sure your insurance was still the same." I'm gonna need to make some calls. But that's what happens as you get older. All your conversations change. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you talk about girls and fast cars and movies and stuff. Then you get to 40, 50, you start talking about politics and sports. Then you get to my age at 65 and older, and all your conversations are about medical issues going on with you. I don't care how a conversation starts, it'll somehow come around to somebody's colonoscopy. It's like, "Yeah, our grandson's playing soccer now." "Well, did I tell you about when the doctor had me in that room there for a little bit?" And then everybody piles in. And I hate that. That's all my friends and I talk about anymore is how many pills we're taking, what pills are we taking, what did the doctor say you could or couldn't eat. And God forbid somebody gets rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Then we become like witnesses at the Amber Trial, Johnny Depp trial. We're just like, "Well, then what'd he say? What'd he say?" Because you know what's next. It's going to be you, so you want to be ready, right? We have a friend who's a little bit older than us, and he swears he had a heart attack, but he didn't. But we keep asking about it because it's so fun to hear him tell the story. Because he becomes like a war hero in a Ken Burns documentary. It was Tuesday, 0700. I had just driven through the Hardee's drive-thru, got a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit when my heart was under attack. I reached for my cell phone, but I knew communications to my left arm had been cut off, and I knew that the nearest hospital was 7 clicks away. And that's when the panic set in. I remember screaming, "You're not taking me, Charlie!" Then he asked his wife, "How was Joe's heart attack?" He said, "Oh, he didn't have a heart attack. He gets gas every time he goes to Hardee's." And he calls me screaming, "I'm dying, I'm dying." And by the time I get home from the Walmart, he's asleep on the couch. And we're all like, "So?" But that's what happens as you get older, man. It's like, oh my God. This is how bad it's gotten. This happened today. I had to put my glasses on to help me get my contact lenses in.